Sports with Blake.
This is Sports with Blake.
Hey D.
Yeah, how's it going, man?
I'm good, how are you?
Yeah, I'm not bad, you know. Not bad at all. See you drinking the Rosie Lee and that?
Yeah, of course. Got a little peppermint tea going on.
Yeah, it's good.
Yes, bro. What's going on? Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Merry Christmas,
Yeah, man.
all of that stuff.
Yeah, man, Happy New Year. 2021. Hopefully this year's better than last year.
Yeah, it's been an interesting year. Very interesting. A lot going on, but we made it to 2021 and Sports with Blake, Fight Fan Live. And we're back in the arena of the Insta Live. Gonna have a chat about some of the current boxing events and matches that's been coming on recently.
Mm-hmm.
And let's start with Garcia versus Campbell. The other night.
Well, last night, yeah.
Yeah, last night it was a good fight. Watched it on the Zone. It was a good fight. I was saying to Craig Richards on Insta, I was saying I was saying a 7-9 stoppage in favor of Garcia, and I was right. I should have put a little something on it. I did say possibly could go to. I did think it would go late, and I did possibly say it could go to points, but all in favor of Garcia. I just thought that Garcia, he's a good talent. He's got good skills. The hands are very fast. I noticed that Luke Campbell. He's had a good fighting career so far, but I've seen that when he's come up short a couple of times on a big level, on the world level. So I thought maybe the way Garcia's fighting with his skills right now, I just thought, my energy was leaning to Garcia. So just went for that prediction, and it came true. It was a brilliant body shot though. But all salute to Campbell. That was a great knockdown, a flash knockdown from himself as well. That was a good knockdown right on the button there. So it was a good, interesting. I enjoyed that, man. I enjoyed that, man.
Yeah, so did I. It was a very good knockout, very good body shot. Luke Campbell had his moment in round 2. Should have sort of capitalised on that big knockdown. He made Garcia land on his arm, and he didn't really jump on him, so he let Garcia back into the fight. And when you let a man back in and give a man a second chance, things happen. And that's why when Garcia hurt him at the end of the 5th, he jumped on him in the 6th, tried to get him out of there, didn't quite, and then 7th he got the job done.
Do you think instinctively, let's talk in general, when it comes to fighters, that moment when you hurt a fighter and then it's that instinct to either you're going for the kill or you don't have the will to go for the kill? Do you think there's like a difference between the two fighters' mindsets? One that, when they get a fighter hurt, they're going for it, ready to finish that fighter, or the other fighter who may hesitate. What's your kind of opinion on that? Those two different sides to a fighter when they have somebody hurt.
Well, I think it's kind of a natural instinct. You can't really breed it, because there's some fighters, their instinct is to sort of counter punch, wait for the openings, try and time a fighter. And then there's other guys who have got the killer instinct. They're going straight for the kill. People like Gervonta Davis, Deontay Wilder, those guys, when they have you hurt, they're trying to take you out of the game.
Yeah, because I felt then it was just, he didn't go for the kill at all.
No.
I thought he was going to, he didn't look like he was going to go for the kill either, if I'll be honest. It didn't look like he was going to go for it. It's instinctive, I feel, as you were saying. I feel like you got it in your heart or you don't really.
Yeah, it's either you got it or you ain't, man. You either got it or you ain't.
Yeah. It kind of, and that's kind of, I feel, the difference between sometimes the great fighters and the not so, legends that become legends. The ones that they know how to finish a fight when it's time. They ain't getting paid for overtime. So they're ready to just take a fighter out there and then. Or there's that whole mindset. Go on.
Yeah, you got to try and take the guy out and hit the shower as early as possible.
Yeah, and so hit the shower. Yeah, but it was a good fight. Campbell, Garcia. So what's next, you think, for Garcia?
Garcia, well, he's calling out Gervonta Davis. It seems the crowd want it, but it seems Golden Boy with the zone, they're most likely going to push for the Devin Haney fight. But I'm not sure, because they might want to marinate that one, because they've got a extensive rivalry in the amateurs. They've had like 7 bouts. Devin Haney won 6 of them. Ryan Garcia won 1 of them. So I think they might make Garcia most likely fight someone like Gamboa, who Devin Haney went points with, to see if Ryan Garcia could knock him out. They could put him in with someone like Lee Selby from England, James Tennessee, get him a bit of a UK fan base going. Maybe Xavier Fortuna from Puerto Rico, Jorge Linares, who also beat Luke Campbell but lost to Lomachenko, so that's like the in-betweener. Yeah, there's a few good options for Ryan Garcia going forward.
I'm just trying to get my lighting. What's my lighting saying? Am I a bit dark on from what you can see?
Yeah, a bit dark, yeah.
I'm trying to think what's happening there.
Let's see you. Shout out to Janelle Robinson, Charles in the building, Seth Combo, Mr. Free.
Seth Combo, big shout to Seth. We want that good South African house vibes, you know who the man to lay down the selection is.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's move on, man. Campbell, I feel like what's next for him? Because that's kind of 3 big losses at that crossover stage of world level.
Yeah, for him, the only reasonable thing he could do is probably move up a weight. But it's still going to be tough, because he's still going to have to fight guys potentially like Josh Taylor, Regis Prograis.
Prograis would be a good fight.
Yeah. Other than that, he might be done at world level, so that's his only option. Is to either move up a weight, or he's just going to have to pack it in, I guess.
Well, it's an accomplished amateur career, Olympic gold medalist. He's done his thing. He should definitely be proud of all his achievements. And wish him all the best. Let's move on to some other interesting fights on the horizon recently. We had Canelo Alvarez versus Callum Smith. Incredible fight again. That one. Canelo came in ready to go and take another belt. And Callum Smith was saying, no, I'm not having that. I'm gonna give my best shot, give it a go. You feel it was a bit gun shy in there?
No. He just didn't expect Canelo to be as strong as he probably thought, because he thought this guy's a lot shorter than me. A lot of tall guys seem to have the perception, they think because they're taller that they're going to be bigger and stronger. But as we know, it's not about the size of the dog in the fight. It's about the size of the fight and the dog. Some people are built for show. Some people are built to go.
Built to go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Something what he's saying for many years.
Yeah. So what he's saying is that he couldn't take the center of the ring away from Canelo Alvarez. So Canelo, he's obviously hit him with something what's made him think, I don't really want to stand here and trade. So Canelo then took the center of the ring, took the initiative to be first on the front foot, and was backing up Callum Smith with relative ease, and then started to somewhat bully him in there.
Well, I feel that Callum Smith. I feel like he was talking in the build-up, about the height advantage, and I did kind of just think, so don't rely on that height advantage kind of talk to kind of give you that false, what's the word? That false security. I'm watch holding him out. I'm just gonna beat this guy down, and it's gonna be an easy night. But Canelo, I feel he always proves the doubters wrong. Tall fighters, they're getting beat the same way. It's just that bull in him. He's coming at you non-stop, applying pressure. I was watching the fight and could see that his footwork. Every move, he was closing the distance round by round, and starting to have his way. At will at times. And I think that's something that he's mastered very well over the years, and he just got better at doing. And interesting to see him and maybe possibly a Billy Joe Saunders fight in the future. I think that'd be good to see what Billy Joe can do.
Yeah, I think that's what they're billing for the May Mexican public holiday weekend. Cinco de Mayo, it's called. So he's got a mandatory or something like that. He's going to deal with in February with Avni Yildirim, the Turkish fighter, and then in Mexico as a homecoming, and then he'll go to the Cinco de Mayo in May, and then fight Billy Joe. That's what they're in talks with to line up.
Oh, that'd be a good fight. Unlucky Callum Smith. What do you think's next for Callum Smith going forward after a loss like that? It's interesting to see where fighters go after a loss.
Yeah. What he has said is that he feels that he may have outgrown the weight now, so he's looking to step up to light heavyweight, 6'3". So with his size, I think that is the right move for him. To be fair, that is the right move for him. He's got to 175 and campaign there because it'll be more easier on the body to make weight, and he's big enough. He's still a big guy, light heavy. Yeah, so I think that's the most sensible thing for him.
Yeah,
and I think he'll
be a good operator at light heavyweight again. Yeah, he looks like he's squeezed into that weight division below for sure. Yeah. That was another good fight. It's been a good season, despite the times we're in. I have to appreciate there's been some good boxing going on. There's been some good fights rolling on. Also, we had a bit of just before both of those fights, to get your opinion on Daniel Dubois and Joe Joyce, because that was very. I definitely thought. In my mind, I thought Dubois was going to do it, but then as the fight started, I just saw Joe Joyce's Olympic kind of pedigree and that experience kicking in round by round. Then I realized, wait. In the first couple of rounds, I realized, when you've gone into the deep end, you realize it's a bit deep down there, though, for real, though. It's real deep. And that's kind of the energy I felt after the first 2 rounds. And I thought, Daniel's going to have to do something a bit different here if he's going to win this fight.
Yeah, well, a lot of people was banking on Daniel Dubois looking sensational against the opposition he had been in with thus far. Myself, I did have Joe Joyce winning with his amateur pedigree. Plus, he is the juggernaut. Which is an immovable object. So I just had a feeling he was going to win late, drag Dubois, the inexperienced man, into deep waters, because Daniel didn't have senior amateur career. He did junior and youth, but I think he only had 6 senior bouts. He didn't do any ABAs or elite stuff like that. So I knew that was going to be a very big deciding factor and hinder him in that bout. And then as the going got tough, the tough got going. He got an injury. It was a very bad injury. And I think he did the right thing to save himself for another day. He's young. He'll come again. He's only, 22, 23. Joe Joyce is 35. So let's say 5 years' time. Daniel Dubois is going to be 27 years old. Joe Joyce is going to be 40 years old. He's going to be gone and out of the game. Deontay Wilder's 35.
You never know.
Yeah, but even if they're in the game, Wilder will be 40 years old by then. Joe Joyce will be 27. So you have Wilder, Joyce will be 40. Anthony Joshua will be 36. Tyson Fury will be 37. So, Daniel Dubois, he's the generation under.
And that's what I thought when he first come on the scene. And he came into the game. I thought, yeah, this guy has got a lot of years on him, so he's going to have time to grow in the game, and he's definitely going to be one for the future, a future world champion. And he's got a mindset of being in there early, getting in the gym early and being there from day. Like, I remember meeting him in the gym, and he said to me, "Oh, you got any kids?" I said, "No." He said, "Yeah, man. When you have kids, you definitely got to get them boxing from young." So you had that mindset of a man. He seems like he's been boxing all his life, and he'll come again. I feel like he's got his head screwed on, and he's got good people around him. He'll come again. But it's just fortunate that fight didn't continue, because that eye injury was really bad. If it continued, he may have lost his eye. And I know. I'm speaking from experience. I know. I've got a relative with eye problems, and the same place where he was operated at, Moorfield Eye Hospital. That's a very great hospital, and that's where he had his operation. So he's in definitely good hands, on his rehab and recovery, with them operating on his eye. And I wish him the best, man. But it's not a nice eye injury at that level. It's not a nice injury, but he's definitely with some good specialists that will, help his recovery for sure.
Yeah, we've had people in boxing who ended up blind in one eye. Unfortunately, Anthony Agogo, who's an Olympic medalist, you may have heard of him. He's done a few stuff. Yeah, that's why he had to retire from boxing. He got an injury during his last bout. They tried to do an operation with it. It didn't really go that well, and he can't see really out of it. He's got like 10% vision in one of his eyes, so that's basically blind in one eye, really. So it's a real injury. So Danny Dubois, I think he did the right thing.
I just wanted to emphasize that point, because an eye injury is not a joke. Loss of sight in general is a serious issue, and boxing, obviously, you're taking a lot of shots to the eye. You see it over and over again, a cut on the eye, all these kind of things. So you just have to respect these fighters, man. They get in the ring and put it all on the line, and so much respect to these warriors out there. I did see a question, Dan.
You scroll up. I saw it. It's
decline. I'll read it out. Do you think British boxing is on a decline as our world champions are getting less and less compared to about 5 or 6 years ago? So I think they're asking, do you think British boxing is on a decline?
No, I don't think that it's on a decline.
And that's from, hold on, sorry, Dave. That's from Mackie D83. Big shout outs.
Yeah, no, I don't think British boxing is on decline. I think it's on the uprise, if anything, because you have to remember, for many years, British boxing was in the dark ages where we didn't have any real world champions. You'd get one in a blue moon. But when Audley Harrison won the Olympic gold in 2000, that pushed a lot of money and funding into the British amateur system, which was able to develop a lot of the young talents. So that's how you end up with Amir Khan, 17 years old, being the only qualifier for the Olympics in 2004. Then you had James McGill in 2008 win a gold medal. Then you had Luke Campbell and Anthony Joshua win gold medals in 2012. Because before Audley Harrison, no one had won an Olympic gold from Great Britain in 80 years. I think it was Dick Taggart. It was from then, and we've had lots of. I think it was a few years ago, we had the most world champions in the world at one stage in time for a little island, so of Great Britain. Yes, we've always got to compete with, because before we'd always think we have to go over to America to be taken seriously. We've got to go to America to fight an American to be considered that we're the real deal world champion. Now we can get Americans to come over to us, and they've got to come to the O2, they've got to come to Wembley, they've got to come to the Principality, they've got to come see us on our turf. Errol Spence had to come to Sheffield, to Kelbrook to get his world title. Terence Crawford had to go to Scotland to fight Ricky Burns to get his world title. Timothy Bradley had to fight Junior Witter to get his world title. They have to start coming to us. And now we've got a new surge of players in the game via the Eastern Europeans. A lot of the Ukrainians, the Russians, the Kyrgyzstans, the Kazakhstans, and they now seem to be quite a dominant force in the boxing scene, and that's why if you look at the light heavyweight division, you've got guys like Sergei Kovalev, he's a bit on the way up, but now you've got Arthur Petreviev and Dmitry Bivol leading the pack in that division. With the cruiserweights, it's normally the Eastern European guys and stuff like that. So yeah, British boxing, I think, is healthy at the moment.
Yeah, definitely healthy. All the salute to all the promotional companies. I think they played a big part. You know, him as a global brand is really unboxing in general over here. I have to give him his props, you know, just on a commercial level, because that brings the casual fans to the sport, and that, you know, brings more bums on seats and more interest away from hardcore boxing fans, you know. So it opens it up to, you know, the world and everybody putting their eyes back on boxing again, you know. Because I remember those 90 heydays, you know. We're talking about the eras of the Frank Brunos, the Mike Tysons, the Chris Eubanks, and the Nigel Benns. So it's got that similar energy reoccurring now, thanks to, you know, all the divisions and heavyweights having such a good run, and, you know, Tyson Fury doing his thing, taking the belts. So Klitschko, I felt, had a part to play as well. That was a good. Because I felt like for years it was like you had some of the biggest and most popular belts. You know, big up the Klitschkos. You know, they were some great fighters, but I felt like, you know, when they had such a long reign, it was just. I felt at that time it felt a bit boring at that time, because people were seeing a boring style of fighting. Not a boring, a style of fighting that people want to see KOs, so they didn't really rate the style of fighting. They had the belts for too long, and Fury wasn't expected to win, and he ripped him away. Then it opened up everything, and then I think that was a game changer on the landscape of the heavyweight division, and that had a knock-on effect when AJ beat what's that guy's name for the belt?
Charles Martin.
It changed. Yeah, when he had that beautiful win over Charles Martin, that was a clean win. That's when I think another tide changed, and then I feel with AJ's, you know, hype and everything, just the way he branded himself, it really helped put boxing to light for all the other divisions, and you got all the other fighters coming through, the coverage, all the promoters, and the coverage being shown on different platforms, more platforms than ever. It's not like you got back in the day, it was just like, I don't know, a couple of ITV, BBC. For you know, you got everything. The YouTube channel, the online stuff, going crazy. You know, you got Fight Fan Live, you got Sports with Blake, you got The Zone, you got all of these. You got IFL TV, you got Seconds Out. Yeah, it's a thriving scene.
Boxing Social.
Yeah,
you got
Boxing Social.
So, the guys, make sure while you're in here, be sure to follow the Fight Fan TV live page, and those of you from my page tuning in, be sure to follow Dan Blake Voice. I had a Sports with Blake channel also. And yeah, as the guy was saying about asking about British boxing, this is the only time in British boxing history, unless you go way back to like the 1800s, when you've got all the heavyweight belts held by British men. So when you have, that's why the Tyson Fury AJ fight, that is going to be the biggest thing since sliced bread and pyramid tea bags were made, because then that's for all the belts by two British men. They've never, all the belts, all the heavyweight belts, because as we know, the heavyweight is the glamour division, and all the belts are over here. They're not none in America. There's none in Russia. There's none in China. They're all here.
Yeah, so as we move on to Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury, all the belts on the line, in the middle of a pandemic. There's a couple of logistics here. I just want to get through the logistics. So, number one being we're in the middle of a global pandemic that still hasn't ended, and it feels like we're still in like just the middle of it, or maybe just a quarter of it. We've got that big factor. I would say the biggest factor. Then we've got a second factor being a mandatory challenger of my brain. Mandatory challenger Alexander Usyk. Yeah, is the mandatory challenger for AJ's belts, and he doesn't seem like he wants to go away quietly for that one. So we've got that's another rope. That's another one out there to fling out there for a potential hazard to stop the 2 fights. So, yeah, those 2 alone, I'm thinking. Then you got Wilder campaigning for the third match, the third fight, the trilogy, and I'm hearing that that's still a go-go for the lawyers and stuff. They're still going really hard to try and make that third fight happen before an AJ and Tyson Fury fight can happen. So I'm feeling that we can be excited, but we have to be careful that we don't get excited and then feel disappointed if it doesn't happen this year, bro.
Well, with the Usyk matter, he's the mandatory for just one of AJ's belts, which is the WBO, but he's gone on record and said that if the AJ and Fury fight is seriously in the works, then he's happy to take some step-aside money to let them duke it out, and then he gets the winner, because that way, when he does get his shot, that means he'll be challenging for all 4 of the belts, not just one of AJ's 3. He'll be challenging for everything. So it kind of works out in his favour to get a payday for not taking a punch in the face. And then he gets first dibs on the winner of Tyson Fury AJ. And say they go 12 rounds, smashing each other up. There's a winner. Then he comes in and gets, a damaged good man. So it can work out in his favour if he plays his cards right.
Yes. Okay, now touch on the pandemic being another, snare in there.
Yeah, because ideally you do need to have Wembley Stadium ready and available with the full capacity, 90,000, 100,000 people. You need that really for the gross money, because the wages that these 2 gentlemen want, which is justified, you're going to have to give them the money, and the money has to come from somewhere. Yes, the pay-per-view revenue, but also the fans want to be there for a memorable fight. You don't want to just have 1,000 people or 2,000 people or 5,000 people in a big old stadium. It's just not going to be the same. So you have to have the ambience there. You have to have the big performances by a rock star and a
Sweet Caroline. You got to have it all.
You've got to have all that, and you've got to have like a current, you've got to get Bruno Mars out there, you've got to get, you got to get one of these new hip-hop guys like The Baby or something, get them over.
Yeah, it's got to be over, it's got to be happening.
It's got to be a whole night, like everyone's going to be dressed up like they're going to go to a Ben & Jerry's or Fantasia rave or something,
Yeah. We don't want to be seeing, we don't want to be seeing Michael Buffer doing video announcements. We want to see Michael Buffer in the flesh. We don't want to hear Ready to Rumble on a Zoom.
Exactly. You have to have it all. You have to have the full package. So that needs to be ironed out. The Deontay Wilder thing, the lawyers, they're onto it, but their mandatory trilogy thing did get expired. So that is not really a problem. The main, and Usyk said he's happy to step aside. They pay him some money. So that can be ironed out. The main big factor is the pandemic, unfortunately, because they've even just now announced today that British boxing, they've cut off. They said there's going to be no fights in Britain for the January, but due to the pandemic, so all the British cards via Matchroom, Frank Queensbury, MCK Global, and Hennessy Sports, they have all got a scheduled for February or after. They've all been cancelled now.
Wow. Yeah, I feel like pandemic-wise, I was saying to someone earlier, I was saying that this is definitely a fill-out month. They're definitely going to be looking seriously, the government, at the month and seeing what the R rate is or whatever it is, to see if that goes down or not, to then kind of see what the trend is going to be for February and March and April, to see if there's going to be any movement. So if January don't go well, don't expect February or March to go well. That's what I would say, which leads to AJ and Joshua. They were planning the summer for that fight. I'm hearing like summertime.
July, August, because you'll need the sun out. You can't have it in a rainy month.
Yeah. I think August is a good shout if you want to put the first bout. August and then July, August, and then let me say. But then, could you get two fights in 1 year with the way it's looking with this pandemic situation? I thought the plan was to get the 2 fights in 1 year. I think we could possibly get one, but I don't think two in the year. I'm doubtful for two.
Yeah, you'll only get one. You'll only get one.
Yeah, you know it. You're only going to get one because it's just the first quarter looks like a myth for the year, you know. So, as you were saying, like maybe deep summer, we get a nice, in a deep summer like August. That's your month, right? August. Yeah. August, we get that good sun in August, and we get that good fight on. So I definitely feel August would be good for that. Let's talk about the fundamentals of the fighters and the styles of the fighters for who would triumph in the fight. Watching AJ against, just my opinion here, watching AJ against Kubrat Pulev, it's a good fight. One of my AJ's greatest ring walk, by the way, his best ring walk ever. I think he even said it on another channel. That was an excellent ring walk, excellent choice of song. The Broken Heart? Yeah, the Rocky anthem.
Yeah, he had three songs. He put on Pot of Paper first. Then he had the do 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 do. Oh, Anthony Joshua. He had that one, and then he dropped into the Rocky Fortune with Ivan Drago.
That was it. You see when he came into that, that's when I knew it's game over. When you saw his ring, when that tune came on specifically, if you watch it back, watch the way he jumps over the rope like the Undertaker. You see the way he stuck his leg over the rope. Didn't take his eyes on Pulev. Gave Pulev the deep stare. And then just carried on and enjoyed the Rocky song before he got to business. I was like, yeah, he's gonna do his bits today. But yeah, just going back to that fight, for AJ, excellent. He tried new things. He was learning on the job. I love that. I love a fighter that's not what I like about him is like he can take a loss, have banter still, come back serious. He's just a balanced mindset, man. It's like you can take a loss, don't take himself too seriously, comes back, shows what he's learned and tries to implement it in front of us. So you can see him learning on the job. And you know, the uppercuts he was frying and he's raining the uppercuts in. You can see him working on those, missing some landing. I love that because it's natural learning right in front of your eyes. It's not like I'm the greatest ever. I'm da-da-da. It's just a man saying, look, I'm the champ now. I want to improve. I always want to do my best, and you're going to see me do it, whether I lose or I win. I'm here, and I'm just trying to improve, you know, in general, and do my thing, leave my legacy. That's what I respect, you know. I like individuals like that. To see him go out there, again, there was a couple of people saying Pulev could give him some problems. I didn't really think so, but shout to Pulev, though. He was a brave man. He took some hard punches in there. I thought that the fight should have been stopped when he turned his back. I thought, all right, mate, you turned your back, it's over. All this turning your back business, honourable shout out, you know, Campbell, you know, he put up a good challenge, but even him, in his fight yesterday, he turned his back as well, and I thought that could have been stopped right there. Same with...
no, but he got saved by the bell when he turned his back.
Okay, I'll give you that one then. But yeah, I feel like when you turn your back, you don't want to fight, do you? Am I right?
Kell Brook turned his back on Crawford.
No offense, I'm not a fighter. I'm not saying, you know, but, you know, I'm just saying, like, you know, I think it should be over then when you turn your back, man. Let's go, save it for another day. Big shouts to, I want to continue talking about this, but let's shout out to SA1 Boxer Size. Uppercut is one of the most effective weapons. He took out White with that. Yeah, great point. Yeah, his uppercut, AJ's uppercut, is something he's been working on for a long time, and it's getting better and better. And I think that Fury is going to have to be aware of the uppercut. That is going to be a lethal weapon in the fight. Something that I feel that AJ could deliver at any cheeky time, just like he did against Klitschko. You know? Oh my God, he pulled it out the back. I love that about the fight. And what else I like about that fight? It was a good demonstration of a man just going trying different things, even trying some good footwork, you know, moving around the ring, not running around as much as he did against Andy Ruiz, but he just showed varied skills in there, man, and I appreciated that. But what I did appreciate the most was that Obviously, people saying he should have took him out in, was it the third round? But, you know, he gave him some licks. I thought he was going to go in the third. But then he had to, you know, hold the tank a bit, you know, not blow himself out, you know, give it a couple of rounds. He was winning the fight. He knew that the knockout would come. And then when it did come with the sweet punch that ended it, that was sweet as like, you know, like that snooker, that snooker shot, that last snooker. Yeah, that was the last straight. That's just like that. Fired it. It was all systems go. It was a great win, man, and I think it was a good demonstration of what's to come. I feel about Fury, and yeah, that's my AJ analysis. You give some of your AJ analysis, then we'll move on to Fury.
Yeah. So yeah, that was a great performance. You don't want to just blow the tank out like he did in the Klitschko fight when he managed to drop Klitschko in the 5th round. So he had to play it smart at the end of the day, and then figure him out. And I think it was a great performance on behalf of Anthony Joshua at the end of the day, when with the finishing 1-2 combination.
Ooh, sweet.
Yeah, you
like cake and custard.
Exactly. Some people, they just want to be, you know, hard customers and critics a bit too much. At the end of the day, you got to just, you know, give the man his flowers, give the man his credit where the credit's due, and understand that was a great performance at the end of the day.
Yeah, simple. Yeah, definitely a great performance. And Pulev, he's a tough guy. You know, he got up and said, "Let's have it." He was still getting some grins in there, still coming to fight. He is an interesting character, so shout him out. Yes. Oh man. Let's move on to. Okay, let's talk about how he wins the fight. So I feel against Fury. It's an interesting one. He has to be very careful of Fury's kind of sneaky footwork and I feel like Fury's just got a very sneaky, awkward style that AJ's got to be very switched on when he's approaching that kind of style, you know. I feel, you know, because AJ's going to come forward and I think he's going to look for the bombs, because I feel like if Fury comes to I think Fury's going to be thinking possibly with the same mindset he did against Deontay Wilder coming into the fight. That's my opinion. I think he's going to come in saying, he's already said in interviews he feels that he can knock out Anthony Joshua. Knockout. He's confident that he can knock him out. So I feel he's going to be, you know, again, working with his trainer. He's very suited to doing that style of, you know, going forward and attacking. And I feel if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It worked against the most dangerous puncher in the division, Deontay Wilder. So
Anthony Joshua is a totally different opposition to deal with. Deontay Wilder, he's good at long range. He only throws ones, pot shots or 1-2s at best. Anthony Joshua knows how to fire fast and hard combinations. He's actually got faster hands than Tyson Fury when you actually check it. When you're talking about combination punching, inside fighting, Anthony Joshua is better. We've seen that Tyson Fury struggles on the inside fighting to a degree when you've got someone who can actually fight on the inside. That's why Otto Wallin was able to kind of give him a lot of trouble, whereas Wilder can't fight on the inside at all. And I actually see Anthony Joshua knocking out Tyson Fury, but it'll be like a stoppage by the ref, because as long as he'll go down, he'll always get back up, but the ref will stop it at the end of the day, because I don't see Tyson Fury's corner throwing the towel, but it will be a TKO stoppage via the ref, because Anthony Joshua will be getting on the inside, throwing hard and fast combinations, getting dog deep with Fury. And I don't think Fury, when it gets up close and personal in the trench, he'll be able to deal with Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua's only issue will be he does tend to gas a bit, and so he needs to work on making sure he doesn't come in too hench. None of that hench Metro Flex stuff. He needs to come in nice and trim, as he has been doing the last couple of fights, and make sure that his engine is high, because Fury does have a good engine, but Fury can't knock out Anthony Joshua. We've seen Fury And if you looked at Wilder was out on his legs, staggering around the ring, knackered from round 3. He couldn't get rid of Wilder. Wilder was stopped on his feet by the towel coming in. Fury still doesn't feel his power, in my opinion, because if Wilder was that tired against Anthony Joshua or Dillian White or Jarrell Miller or anyone of note, they'd have blasted him out and took him out. Fury still couldn't get rid of him. He couldn't finish his dinner properly.
But do you think that you said that he couldn't? Obviously, they threw in the towel and that. So you say that, but I feel like he was. The way those camera angles were, he was putting a whooping on Wilder, and he was just going to continue to keep whooping on him.
But the power wasn't enough to knock out a man who's 4 or 5 stone lighter than you.
True, that's a good point. But I feel that's what he's going to try and do anyway. I feel he's going to try and come in to knock out AJ, and he's going to try and fight. It's going to be a dog versus dog fight, man. I could see an early knockout in this fight. I don't see this one going too long. I feel like they're going to meet each other in the middle of the ring a good couple of times. And someone's own. Someone's own. That's already gone.
That wouldn't be one Tyson Fury, but it would be like a stopper.
Because and I feel that really in the heavyweight division, AJ's probably he's one of the few that fires so many combinations at times, like in bursts.
Yes, he is. Him, Andy Ruiz, but AJ has more variation to it, and but Andy Ruiz is far combinations as well. But yeah, Andy Joshua is he's more of a complete boxer out of everyone, because Fury, yes, he's got a fast, flicky jab, but it's not a power jab. But he doesn't throw combinations very well.
Doesn't throw them at all. Yeah.
Hard combinations, and his main attribute is that he's got a herky-jerky style. Like it's like a.
This is what I mean. The awkwardness,
he does this awkward pubman move before he throws the punch.
Yeah.
He does the awkward pubman shuffle. So, but Andy Joshua,
that's where I feel AJ has to be wary of those little awkward side movements, just the footwork disappearing once. He's got to be a bit careful of that.
AJ's British. He's used to that pubman shuffle. Someone like Wilder from the countryside down in Alabama, he ain't going to be used to pubman shuffle. But if you're in Britain, we all know that fish and chips move. That's fish and chips. So we all know that move. So Andy Joshua is going to be hit for the pubman shuffle. So trust me.
The pubman shuffle. Outside the pubman shuffle. Oh, jeez, big shout to
You want some?
Come on, Sandy Savage.
All that fish and chip pubman shuffle. AJ's going to brush him up. What?
Jokes. Can't wait for the fight, man. Don't know, it's a big win. Yeah, I thought AJ. I think AJ's got it. Shouts to Craig the Spider Richards inside the chat here. They've done his thing. We're going to chat about Craig's fight against Shakan. That was a great win. But AJ and Tyson Fury, man. I hope we get one in 2021. That would really mark a good summer to get at least one of the biggest British heavyweight fights ever, I would say. It's a big one. But who wins in the war of words? In the war of banter leading up to the fight? He's got the
gift to the gab. He's got the lingo and that. AJ he ain't really to drop lyrics and that. He can drop he'll say 1 or 2 lines, but at best he just knows to play second fiddle and not let Fury get too much in his head. Just take it as what it is. Fury's got the gift to the gab. Yeah, he's gonna win the war of words. He's the better talker. Just let him sell the fight at the end of the day. Just sell the fight. Andy Joshua, just be the Mr. Be humble. Just play it Mr. Nice, be humble guy. And do that routine. Because he's not going to outwit and out-talk Tyson Fury. But talking is one thing. But once you step through those ropes...
Yeah, you say that. You say that. But I feel also it's the psychological aspect leading up to the fight is going to be, especially a fight of this caliber, I feel it's going to play a part. Mind games, the psychology, and that's something that AJ's been working on from losing to Ruiz. He's got someone that works on the psychology of the fights with him in his training camp now. So it's all about, it's got mindset stuff going on for his own focus. So I feel even AJ's even come with a new approach where he's even said, what did he say? He said to Fury, I want to manage you. Let me manage you throughout your career, basically. So those are good little nice jabs, little subtle jabs. So, let me manage you. Let me sort out what's going on over there, So, and I think Fury, he bit back at what he said about that pretty quickly. So those are good little battles, psychological wins leading up to the fight, getting everything rolling already, which is good because those little psychological, emotional jabs, I feel, and I think, boxing's mindset as well, So I think those things are going to play a part in the fight.
Yeah, because there's more than one way to skin a cat. You don't need to just keep screaming, "Oh, you docile, I'm going to knock you out, you docile." You're saying things like, come and join my 256 management team, because at the end of the day, he talks like he doesn't want to be famous, but he's dying to be famous, just like the next man. He hasn't got any sports and endorsement deals. You walk down the street, you see Anthony Joshua on your Lucozade bottle, you see Anthony Joshua on your Lynx packages, on your body washes and your deodorant spray. You see Anthony Joshua on your gym group membership placard board. You see Anthony Joshua on your JD Sports posters outside the shop. You're seeing Anthony Joshua everywhere. You don't see Tyson Fury's face nowhere on no board. You see Anthony Joshua on Google sitting outside Enish. Yeah, you see Anthony Joshua endorsing your local dry cleaners. You see Anthony Joshua all up on the screen. It wouldn't surprise me if Tyson Fury does smashes the TV now and then, because he's seen Anthony Joshua's face. Them kind of things they get into your head, like, I'm the champ. Why my face no way? Huh? You see?
Wait, they should have a little swingers in WWE before the real one. Tyson Fury's got the contract over there. Jokes. So it's a big fight. We're looking forward to it. AJ versus Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua. Let's move on. Big shouts to A-Class and catching jokes, saying that absolutely I could see Fury getting to AJ mentally. That's why I just wanted to make a point about that mental battle, because that's going to be one that is going to play a part in that fight, especially the first one anyway, because they don't know each other like that. You know what I mean? They're not cool with each other outside the ring too much. They had a couple of sparrings together. I remember watching them in a good watch. If everybody is in it, a good watch. If you ain't seen it, it's I believe it's seems like a behind the gloves special on Sky Sports. It's on YouTube. And it's like a round table of a young Anthony Joshua when he first came in the game with Tyson Fury. He had quite a lot more fights than him at the time. Frank Bruno is also in the video. I think Johnny Nelson's in the video, a pundit and an ex-fighter. And there's a couple of other ex-fighters all around the round table. Lennox Lewis also is in the video. So it's like legends, and they're all having a chat, and it's showing, Tyson chatting to a young AJ at the time. So those are good little things to check out to get that anticipation and build up to the fight. And I heard a couple about the old sparring stories. I think AJ getting the best of Fury in some of the early sparrings they've had. So it's going to be an interesting one, There
you go. And Fury went on record and said that AJ beat him up, though. That was from Fury's mouth. Let's
discuss the landscape of the light heavyweight division now. Let's check in with the Craig the Spider Richards against Shakan Pitters. That one on Channel 5 the other night. Nice, was it free to air boxing match that went out to the general public on a terrestrial TV, Channel 5, which also brings in a new audience, brings in some, again, casual fans to the boxing scene that got to enjoy that fight. I did watch the whole event, and was a really good display. I feel like I want to make some points here. I feel like Craig was underrated in that fight. I feel like I forgot his name. Shakan Pitters, I feel like he was kind of seen as the favourite. when I was watching it, it seemed like a pretty biased pay-per-view, to be fair. There was a lot of promotion on him. A lot of commentary was very kind of biased and saying things that wasn't necessarily true during the fight. So that was interesting. It kind of opened me up to seeing how, if there's a fan favorite of a fighter, how that fighter can be favored in a pay-per-view that could then cause a biased decision if it goes to points. So there's some interesting things that happen along with the TV coverage and the points and the whole system. You know, that's something to look at. And I think that's been an argument going on for a long time. But Craig, what I love what he done, he came away from the Matchroom stable, away from Sky Sports. He come for that the light heavyweight British belt. He come for it and took it. He ripped it away. He didn't come to play any games, didn't take any chances. He was composed all the way from the interviews he was doing up into the fight. Having some, there was obviously issues leading up to the fight, but the fight came back around and he stayed calm, composed, and he delivered just like I thought he would. I thought that Craig was a more experienced fighter. They got Shaq Bitters. He's had a good career so far. Old boxer, done a few things, doing his thing. But I just thought Craig has been in more wars than him. He's done his rounds already, in my opinion, in the circuit on the British level. So I've just been waiting for that whole step up to world level, to be honest, and I think it's here now. I'm happy that he's took the belt home. That was a good, solid knockout. Left no corners unturned. And I've heard rumours about a possible rematch, and I'm thinking I don't see a rematch there. I thought that was a concisive victory. That was Craig putting in the display, working on new things I'd never seen him do. And you can see him learning in the fight as well. Again, I love it. I love seeing learning and action being displayed at the same time. It's proper, makes excellent TV. And the KO was remarkable. It was a remarkable KO, and seeing him. And I love that overhand right by Craig as well. It's a very strong asset he has. And it was a solid victory, man. I was very impressed by Craig the Spider Richards' win. And I feel like there's a lot of drawouts with him on British level because he's fought so many British level fighters. So what happens is there's a knock-on effect for more, because he keeps fighting British level fighters, they're seeing, so more British level fighters want to keep screaming his name. You get what I mean? Yeah. But he's a champ now, and I feel that that's I cemented it at the British level, and I feel that he has earned a right to really just move on like a Joshua Buatsi. I feel he won it, and I feel big shout out to Joshua Buatsi, and have a great fighter. But I feel that Craig's even had a lot of wars deeper than Buatsi's career at light heavyweight currently. And, he moved on pretty quickly. So I feel that definitely Spider is at a stage where he can move on and go on to a European world level, man. Just do his thing and, up the levels now. I feel he's definitely earned that reputation and delivered in all of these fights on big levels, on TV shows with full pressure. It's not like they've been fights on a low level. They've been all pressure. I've seen him on TV in wars, been there live myself and seen him in wars, and he's always come through, and he took the fight short notice. I believe his only loss to Frank Buglioni on short notice, went in, took the chance, and I'm sure that looking back on that fight, he held his own and he gained a lot of experience as well. And he would have took so many lessons from that fight alone. Since that fight, where he stepped up to light heavy, it's been a great turnaround. It's been knockouts. He's comfortable at the weight, and it's good. He seems comfortable and he seems happy, which is good because I remember coming to a weigh-in one time a while ago, seeing Spider Richards, and I knew Spider's a big lad, and I know that. I think it was one of his last fights at that super middleweight kind of level. And I saw him right after the weigh-in, and I was like, this is a man who's made the weigh-in, but I could see that, he needs to be in my mind, I'm thinking he needs to be at light heavyweight. That's what I was thinking. I felt that even just by seeing how you have to make that weight. And then I think it's, I was literally at the weigh-in. He was there with Ted Cheeseman in the Cottonelle Hotel. And I remember thinking, wow, he's probably going to move up soon. And he did not too long after that. But, man, excellent win for Craig Spider Richards. And just get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, well, you kind of broke it down there. Shakan Peters was billed as the star child of Channel 5 for Mick Hennessy Sports. Good-looking lad. So he was billed as the poster boy throughout the whole build-up. You saw he was getting the poster with, the big spread of the arms. It was kind of good, that he shagged poses. They didn't even put on the information credits on the Channel 5 billing. They said Shakan defends his British title. They didn't even say who it's against. Like, people don't know who Craig Richards is, but yet when Shakan Peters was fighting Chad Sugden, they put Shakan Peters versus Chad Sugden, like they do with every fight. Whether someone's fighting someone no one's ever heard of, you at least put their name in. They didn't even give Craig that respect. Craig obviously knew coming into as the B-side in this, he's going over to his home show, his hometown in West Midlands, in a place called Redditch, which is, it's like Orpington to London, so you might as well say it's Birmingham anyway. He knew that he was going to have to, score a few knockdowns or stop Shakan Peters to get the nod. You saw the Channel 5 commentary team was quite biased with Richie Woodall and George Groves. It was very biased. There's a lot of the work that Craig was doing they was not given the credit for. But I've noticed that with quite a lot of the commentary teams lately, whether you watch The Zone, whether you watch BT Sport, Queensbury, whether you watch Matchroom, whether you're watching Hennessy Sports, a lot of their commentary team tend to be quite biased. Craig Richards scored a knockdown in round 4. Shakan dipped his head. He got caught. Craig hit him in the temple with the straight right. Shakan Peters tried to fire back. Craig did a jab to the body, followed by a right hand, put Shakan over. He took round 5 off. Round 6 and 7 and 8, it was competitive, going either way and stuff. And then round 9, Craig caught him with an overhand right. Shakan sagged onto the ropes. He tried to get away, tried to escape. Craig hit him with sort of like a cupping right. He dipped down, backed up square, bent his knees. Craig threw the right uppercut, followed by the big left hook, and that slumped Shakan Peters down. He got up on very shaky legs, staggered into the ref. The ref waved it off, and you see Shakan stagger back into the rope, and it was all she wrote, and we had the new British light heavyweight champion in the building.
This is it, and I feel, Craig was an excellent display, and I feel that one will be one for his legacy, man. So I want him to really, he's enjoying himself. I see he's enjoying his trip in abroad at the moment, doing his thing. It's well deserved. But I was very happy to see that moment for him on Channel 5 right there. You can imagine there was Craig Richard fans and new fans gained on Channel 5 that night, and a lot of doubters as well. Because Craig's had he's had a solid career. So, but I feel that because Craig, he doesn't trash talk as much, and sometimes I feel like play up to the whole, that whole kind of braggadocious card. Sometimes I feel like he doesn't get the credit, and he even feels that. He said it in interviews before, but he said when he takes that belt, he will get that full credit that he deserves. And I feel like I was looking at the comments and stuff, and I've been seeing, I feel like that's there for him now and going forward. And I feel that Eddie Hearn needs to give him the big fights now, at world level. I think Matchroom need to take him to that world level going forward. And I'm not gonna sit here and think who he's gonna challenge next, but I just feel that he should move on now. What's your thoughts? You think he should move on from this level or defend the belt a couple of times?
Well, it's really up to Craig and his team what they think's the best avenue for him, especially during this pandemic. So that's might affect some of the potential decisions he will want to make or will be available for him. The availability of opponents and stuff like that.
All those factors.
Be restricted to not even allowing boxing like Britain right now. There'll be guys overseas, if they want to give Craig a shot, Craig will have to travel over there rather than Eddie try and bid it over here. So he has a few options. He's saying he's got about several people calling him out now, wanting to book the most notable person is Dan Aziz, another local guy from the Luton Borough. He's the current English champion. But as we've seen, Callum Johnson, when he was due to fight Joshua Boatty for the British, Callum Johnson vacated. Joshua Boatty won it, the vacant title. And then when Joshua Boatty was due to fight Craig Richards, when Craig was mandatory for the British, Joshua Boatty. And then Craig didn't have a mandatory opponent for 6 months. Then they managed to say Shakan Pitters was. Then in November last year, Shakan wasn't ready. Craig took a guy, Chad, like last minute, just for a little Christmas tick over fight. Then they was Craig and Shakan was due to fight in February, but Craig unfortunately caught COVID. But the show anyway got scrapped before it was even going to be allowed anyway. So even if Craig announced it, the show was pulled because the whole country got put into lockdown anyway. So then we got finally to December this year. That's when the fight took place, and Craig was able to fight him. So Craig could fight either Dan Aziz, defend the British title. I'm sure there's probably a couple other challengers. Or he could fight for the IBO title against Robin Krasniqi, the Albanian based out of Germany. There's a vacant European title still out there, so he was able to bid for that. You could get Craig someone for a vacant European shot. Obviously, Craig ranks currently number 8 by the WBA, but I think he's gone upwards now with that British title win, so he's probably about 6 or 5 or 4th now. And the current champion is Dmitry Bivol from Russia, but he's originally from Kazakhstan. So Craig could potentially, you never know, get a voluntary shot if Dmitry Bivol offers him out. And there's 2 options out there.
This is it. And I'm glad you broke some of them down and educated me a bit on some of those routes. You know, I definitely like the sound of the European route. I like the sound of voluntary against Bivol, you know, making some noise possibly. And I like the IBO you mentioned, right?
Yes.
So if, for instance, Craig was to fight for the IBO, that would definitely up his stock, right? Would you say, like, in the world level ranks?
Yes, because Craig is currently the WBA Continental Champion, and the Robin Krasniqi guy, he has the IBO title and the WBA interim. And when you win the interim, that makes you the number 1 mandatory challenger for Dmitry Bivol's WBA light heavyweight bout. So if Craig was to fight Robin Krasniqi, then he would win the IBO title and plus win the WBA interim, which would make it 1, because Craig's probably about number 5 or 4 at the moment for it. So it would rise him to the number spot for the WBA, yeah.
Wow. That's what I'm talking about right there. Great analysis. It's good we've got a breakdown there. Yep, so we had a great discussion on Craig Richards' some potential routes there and perspective for people to check out there on the British, the light heavyweight champion, Craig Spider Richards. Excellent win over Shakan Pitters. What do you think's next for Shakan Pitters?
Well, he'll have to just regroup, get a couple of run-out wins, build the confidence back up on Channel 5. They've got their main guys right now. I know it was Shakan Pitters, Isaac Chamberlain, that Love Island guy, Idris Virgo, and they're trying to build up the promoter Mick Hennessy's son, Michael Hennessy Jr. You have Otto Saba training Michael Hennessy Jr. and doing the corner of Isaac Chamberlain as well. So yeah, with Shakan, he's just got to rebuild himself and get back into title contention, because I feel that if Craig decides to move on, Shakan Pitters can very easily win back the British title versus somebody else, defend it 3 times, win the Lonsdale belt outright, because he's a very difficult customer to deal with. There's a lot of people who are struggling to get past the jab in boxing. That's like a key weapon. And a man who's 6'6", built very well, good boxing skills, decent foot movement, a lot of people are going to find it hard to get past his jab and counter right-hand at the end of the day. So I can see him winning the British title outright. If he, just needs to get back on the saddle and get back on the horse and start riding again.
That's what's up. And we'll leave it there. So it's been a great time once again. So it's Dan Blake Voice on the Instagram and Twitter, where you can catch all the Sports with Blake content. And also on Spotify, just type in Dan Blake Podcast, and then you can catch the Sports with Blake. This will be up there on the Spotify account. So just type in Dan Blake Podcast, and you can catch that Sports with Blake Podcast. Dan, you want to shout out the platform Fight Fan Live?
Yep, I'm Danny Fight Fan TV. You can catch me on at Fight Fan TV Live on Instagram. Make sure you follow and make sure to subscribe to at Fight Fan TV Live on the YouTube channel and catch the latest and greatest content to do with boxing, MMA, WWE, or all combat sports at the end of the day, because we're fight fans, so we love a good fight.
Jeez. Oh yeah, I got to big up my YouTube as well. So it's Dan Blake TV on the YouTube, and you can catch all my content on there, from my music interviews to my sports content, unboxing, football, wrestling. Yeah, you get me, all of those things right there. Football, boxing, wrestling, that's my thing. I don't know, maybe a couple other sports soon, but those three are my main three at the moment. And it's always a pleasure, and we're going to tap in more often just to have analysis, tap in on all the, sports occurrences and what's going on in the sports arena with, Mr. Savvy right here, Dani Wright. It's always a pleasure to start off the year with a good little chin wag and chat about the landscape of boxing, bro.
Yeah, man, it's always good. A pleasure grateful for you to have me on the show, and I'll be more than willing to come back on and chop it up with you in the future.
Definitely, Dan. All right, Dan, you take care now. Big shouts to everybody who jumped into the live and got involved and asked questions. Take it easy, and we'll see you soon.
Take care. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Yo, man's running back.